Hello friends, today we are going to see the basic concepts of digital communication. As we know that this subject is having great importance nowadays because we can have many applications where we are using the concepts of digital communication. For example, you can have the example of your mobile phone. We know that this is a very popular example nowadays. Then you can have an example of satellite. Then you can have example of internet, and there are many more, and these all the recent communication schemes are using the concepts of digital communication. That's why the subject can have a great importance nowadays. And today in this lecture we learn the basic concept and introduction of digital communication. So if we talk about objectives, what we learn today, we learn what is the digital communication, means what is the definition of digital communication, right? Or how we can define the digital communication, and then we can see the digital communication blocks, means what are the basic blocks, basic things which are associated with digital communication. And we will also learn the basic nomenclatures or the definitions related to digital communication, which we can use in the future in the coming lectures, or which are the common terminologies used in digital communication. So these things we'll learn today. Now we can start with the simple concept of communication, that the general conventional method of communication used analog signals for long distance communication, which suffer with many losses such as distortion, interference, and many other losses including security breach, right? So in this line what we can conclude, that normally if we use analog signal communication, then there are certain disadvantages which are related to analog communication, and that those can be distortion, interference, and the most prominent one, that is in security breach, or you can say that your data security. So I hope that you all know about something about the analog communication, but in one line what I can summarize, that whenever if we see a basic block of communication, then we can say that in this we can have a transmitter side and we can have a receiver side, and then in between transmitter and receiver we will have channel. This can be a simple basic block diagram of any communication system. Now if our data, our information signal is analog in nature at the transmitter side, and then this analog signal is basically moving from transmitter to receiver, then such kind of communication can be named as analog communication. Such type of communication can be named as analog communication, right? And on the other hand, if we are having a simple communication block diagram, and in the transmitter side we have extra device which can be named as analog to digital converter, because in nature normally we'll have analog signals, and what we have to do, we have to convert this analog signal into digital signal, and then this digital signal can be poured into the channel for further processing or for the purpose of communication, right? For the purpose of communication. So this kind of communication can be named as digital communication. So in one line what you can say, that if the data which is going to be transmitted is digital in nature, then the communication is digital communication, and if the data is analog in nature, then the communication is analog communication, right? And here we have seen that the analog communication can have the disadvantages or limitation like distortion, interference and security breach. So to avoid such kind of disadvantages, what we'll do, we'll prefer digital communication, or what we can say that we will digitize our signal using different schemes, right? Digitized means we will convert our analog signal to digital signal, so that we can avoid these three important losses, right? And the process which is involved to convert the analog signal to digital signals are: number one, sampling. We have to do sampling. Number two, we have to do quantization. And number three, we have to do encoding. So when we pass all these three operations, then we can say that if we are having here analog signal, then after passing this analog signal through these all three processes, we can have digital signal here at the side of receiver, right? And now this digital signal can be communicated through the transmitter and through the channel, right? So this can be the basic introduction of digital communication, or you can say that what is the digital communication. You can understand here that the digital communication is a type of communication where the data which is transmitted is digital in nature. So this is important, right? Now if we come to the basic nomenclature in digital communication, then we can say that we can have textual message, right? Or we can say that we can have information which is comprised of sequence of characters. Then this is the important one, we can have binary digit, or it is also known as bit, the fundamental information unit of all digital systems, right? So any digital data can be represented in the form of bit, right? So these are the bits 1 1 0 1 1 0 1 1. So any data can be represented, any analog signal or data can be represented with the help of these bits. So such kind of representation of any signal can be named as a digital representation, right? Similarly, there is one more terminology or nomenclature, that is called symbol, right? So if you say that I am having analog signal, for example, I am having an analog signal, and corresponding to this analog signal we are having a data which can be like this 1 1 0 1 0 1 1. And now, so here we can say that this whole stream is formed with the help of bit, right? Because the single digit is known as bit, right? And in some applications, what we'll do, we'll make the group of these bits. We'll make the group of these bits on the basis of certain characteristics, right? So the group of these bits is nothing but it is known as symbol. It is known as symbol, right? So you can say that analog signal can be converted into digital digital signal, which comprises some bits, and then you can form the group of the bits, and those group of the bits will be named as symbols, right? So here you can see that for the transmission of the bit stream, group of k bits can be combined to form new symbol from a finite set of capital M such symbols, right? So this is capital M is equal to 2 to the power k, where k is number of bits. So these are the possible number of symbols, right? Similarly, you can have a digital waveform to represent the symbol or bit, and then this is very important, that you can have a term which is named as data rate, and the data rate is nothing but it is the symbol transmission which is associated with symbol duration capital T. So the data rate can be defined as k by t. So in a simple language, what we can say that it is the rate by which you are transmitting k number of bits in a single duration of symbol. So for example, duration of symbol is capital T, and number of bits which are transmitted in that symbol duration is nothing but the data rate, or simply it can also be named as bit rate. It can also be named as bit rate, and this data rate or bit rate is directly related to the speed of communication. Speed of communication, right? Perhaps you have listened that we are having very high data rate or high bit rate system. So it means that we are having a very high speed, because number of bits that can be travel through that, the unit time interval will be large. So if the number of bits the large number of bits can be transmitted through a yeah, per unit symbol duration, then you can say that we are having large bit rate. Similarly, if the number of bits are small, which have been transmitted in a small duration, we can have it is a low bit rate system or low speed system, right? So it is a very simple, and we'll use data rate or bit rate to characterize the speed of the communication. Similarly, we can have another term which is named as baud rate. A baud rate can have the same definition just like bit rate, right? But at the place of bit, here we will replace this bit by symbol. We replace this bit by symbol, right? So when you can say that the symbols are transmitted, or the number of symbols are transmitted per unit time symbol duration, can be named as baud rate. Can be named as baud rate, right? So it depends that either we are doing the communication in terms of bits, or we are doing the communication in terms of symbols. If we are doing the communication in terms of symbol, we characterize the speed of the communication with the help of baud rate. Or if we are having the communication in terms of bits, then we can characterize the communication system with the help of data rate or bit rate, right? Now we are coming to the elements of digital communication. This is a very simple block diagram of digital communication. Here we can say that we are having source, then we are having source coders, then we are having source coders, then we are having channel coder, and then modulator, and finally the data from the modulator can be moved towards channel. And at the opposite side of the channel, means at the receiver side, you can have the reverse operation of the transmitter. So for example, here we are having modulator is the last operation, here it will be the first operation. So first you will demodulate the data, then you will use channel decoder, then source decoder, and finally you will have the data at the destination. So this can be a simple block diagram here. And now we'll see one by one what is the role of these block diagram, right? So now to do this, we are coming to the next slide. So here you can see that first block is of information, right? So we know that information can be analog in nature, or it can be digital in nature. So analog information can have audio or video type of signals or messages, and digital signal can have data or text type message or character type of messages, or you can say finite messages, right? So this is analog signal or digital signal, and this is the possibility that the source can generate, right? Either the source can generate analog signal or it can generate digital signal. And I have already told you that naturally we are having analog signal, and then we have to apply this analog signal to three process, that is sampling, and then quantization, and then encoding, right? And after doing these three process with this data, analog data, we will convert our data into digital data. So this converted data will be in the form of digital data, right? In the form of digital data. So this is the role of information source, which will give us either analog or digital data. If the data is analog, we have to convert this data into digital if we are interested in digital communication, right? And then we use source encoder. What is the role of source encoder? It will basically convert the output of analog or digital source into the sequence of binary digit. It is very simple. Ultimately, we know that we have to convert our source into the binary digits, that is in the form of 101010, and then the main role of source encoder is what? That it minimizes the redundancy in the source encoder output bits, right? So basically redundancy, you can say that it is a repetition, right? It is a repetition. So it can minimize the redundancy of the source data. So if we minimize the redundancy or repetition of the data, then what we can have, what advantage we can have? We can basically minimize the requirement of the storage. We can minimize the requirement of the storage, right? So this is the role of source encoder, and on the other hand, in the channel encoder, what we are doing, we are adding the redundancy. See, this is very important point. At the source encoder, we are reducing redundancy. We are reducing redundancy. Why we are reducing redundancy? Because we have to decrease the storage requirement. We have to decrease the storage requirement, right? But before sending the data into the channel, what we are doing, we are applying channel encoder, and in channel encoder we are adding redundancy. We are adding redundancy. This is very important. We are adding redundancy. And what is the purpose for this addition? Basically, we want to combat or overcome the effect of noise and interference. Noise and interference, right? So definitely, if the redundancy is high in any data, then in that case the effect of noise will be less, right? But yes, it is also true that it will increase the storage requirement, right? It is increase the storage requirement. So this is very important point for us. Now further, we'll see that we can use digital modulator. We can use digital modulator. So this digital modulator will basically modulate our signal waveform, and we know that I hope that everyone knows that what is the role of digital modulator. For example, here you can see, because our data will be in the form of 101, like this, then what you have to do, basically you have to provide the waveform to every bit. You have to provide the waveform to every bit. For example, for 1 you are using the waveform S0t, for 0 you are using the waveform S1t, right? So this is basically the modulation, when you are modulating this digital data to the time waveform, to any waveform, right? And similarly, the process is known as modulation, and because your data is in the form of binary, so this kind of scheme, when you are representing 1 by any waveform S1t and 0 by any waveform S0t, such kind of mapping or such kind of representation is known as binary modulation. Such kind of modulation is known as binary modulation, right? And it is also very obvious, and every time it will not be possible to have to represent your analog signal with the help of only 2 digits or with the help of only binary digits. In that case, if you modulate your data, that modulation will be known as M-Array modulation. What I will say, this is M-Array modulation, right? In M-Array modulation, basically we use the number of bits can be, for example, k can be k. Here it is mentioned as b, so it is not an issue. You can have any character or alphabet here. So number of bits is equal to k. So for example, you are having a signal, you are converting the signal into digital signal, and fortunately you have require more number of bits to encode such kind of signal, so that the information can be transferred from transmitter to receiver. For example, for converting this analog signal into the digital signal, we need k bits, right? We need k bits. In that case, the number of levels which can be defined with the help of these k bits can be written as m is equal to 2 to the power k, right? So in that case, this kind of mapping can be named as M-Array modulation, right? Don't worry, I hope you got the point, but we'll also discuss this M-Array modulation in detail in the coming lectures, right? So have patience till then, and then we can discuss something about channel, because we know that if we're talking about communication system, we are having only 3 options with us. One is transmitter, this is a receiver, and in between the transmitter and receiver you are having channel, right? This is the possibility. So we have seen what is transmitter and what are the blocks which are related to transmitter, and naturally those all blocks in the reverse operation can be used at the side of receiver. So we have to see the effect of channel. We have to see the effect of channel, right? So if we talk about channel, we know that we can have two broad categories. Channel can be either wired, means when your transmitter and receiver is directly connected through a landline, through a wire, right? In that case we can say that it is a wired channel, right? And in some cases the connection between transmitter and receiver is not there, and we are using antenna to transmit our data into the channel, so those channels can be named as wireless channel, right? And on the basis of these channel, or on the basis of the nature of these two channel, we can define the communication in two types. One is wired communication and the second one is wireless communication, right? So if we use wired communication, we can have a simple connection, that is for example, you can have telephone wire, transmitter and receiver both are connected with the help of this wire. So such kind of communication system can be named as wired communication. And simply this is the important example in the category of wired communication, that we can also use fiber optic cables as a channel, right? Fiber optic cable as a channel, and these channels provides very large bandwidth. So you can say that very high speed communication can be also possible with the help of fiber optic channel, right? And now, for example, here we can draw a line. This is a wireless channel. Wireless channel means we don't have any direct connection between transmitter and receiver. So in that case, we have to use antenna at the side of transmitter and antenna at the side of receiver also to transmit and receive the data, receive the information. So what this antenna will do? Antenna will convert your information into electromagnetic waves, right? And only these electromagnetic waves can travel into the free space. So this is the job of antenna. So you can also say that without antenna, the wireless communication is not possible, right? Similarly, you can have underwater acoustic channels, right? Underwater acoustic channel means, for example, you want to do the communication with some submarine which is somewhere in the down into the water, and here your antenna, and you want to communicate the signal from this transmitter to the submarine. In that case, when your signal is moving into the sea, then you can say that it is nothing but the underwater acoustic channel. You are doing the communication through underwater acoustic channel, right? And then you can also have storage channels like CD, disk and flash memories. This is not that important. So I must say that the channel can have two types, wired and wireless. And the example of wired can be simple telephone wire channel and fiber optics channel. And the example of wireless channel is nothing but when you are using antennas. And then you can have a case of underwater acoustic channels. This is again a wireless channel. You don't have wired connection between submarine and antenna. So this is also a wireless channel, but it is a special type of channel where the role of water is coming into the picture, right? Now we can also see the mathematical modeling. Of some channels which are very important in digital communication, right? So for example, first channel which is very popular in wireless type of communication is known as additive white Gaussian noise channel. This is the simplest mathematical channel model, right? And what is the channel model? Here in AWGN type of communication, what we do, we basically transmit the signal which is ST. Then we assume that a simple noise which come at when the signal is in channel, it can be represented by NT, and the addition of ST plus NT can be nothing but the received signal RT, right? Here in this block diagram, you can see here, and this is our transmitted signal, and then This is the noise, which is nothing but AWGN noise, and this is the channel, additive white Gaussian noise channel. So what will happen? The received signal can be the summation of ST plus NT, right? This is a simple concept. Now the wired channel, the previous slide was of wireless channel. Now if you want to mathematically model the wired channel, what you can say? In the wired channel can be modeled as linear filter channel, right? It can be modeled as linear filter channel. So what is the mathematics of linear filter channel? You can say that here the received signal can be simply represented as transmitted signal convolution with CT. CT is the coefficient of linear filter plus noise NT, right? So if you are using such kind of modeling, you can say that you are in wired type of communication system, right? And this is one more important point named as channel capacity. Why? Because we have seen that there are two important types of channels. One is wireless, and you have seen the mathematical modeling also. And the second one can be wired channel. Right? So what is the capacity of these channel? What is the capacity of these channel? Right? This is also important, right? So what is the capacity? We can calculate the capacity with the help of Shannon's law, with the help of Shannon's theorem. So what was the Shannon theorem? That C, this is called channel capacity, can be defined as B, that is called bandwidth, log of base 2, 1 plus S by N, right? Here B is the bandwidth, S is signal power, signal means which you are transmitting from the transmitter side. So S is known as signal power, and this N is noise power. So if you know these three things, the bandwidth of the channel, the signal power and the noise power, you can calculate the channel capacity, right? This is the formulatical view. Now if you want to interpret the meaning of this channel capacity, it means that you are going to calculate the number of bits that may be reliably transmitted per second through a given communication channel. So this is nothing but the channel capacity, right? So in the channel capacity, basically we want to calculate how many number of bits can be traveled from that channel reliably and per unit second in per unit time. So this is the nothing but the channel capacity, right? I hope you got the concept. Now we can conclude that today we have learned that what is digital communication. So digital communication is whenever we are transmitting the digital data, into the channel or through the channel, then it can be named as digital communication. And then what were the nomenclatures? What were the main parameters which are using in digital communication? They can be named as bit rate, which we commonly use. They can be named as data rate. They can be named as baud rate, then bits, then symbol, etc. Right? These things we have seen, and then we have also learned what is the basic block diagram. What is the basic block diagram of any digital communication system, and more specifically, what is the role of every block, right? So this we have seen today in lecture, and now in the next lecture we'll see some more concepts related to digital communication, and we'll go deeper and deeper to get the better understanding of the subjects. Thanks for patience learning, patience listening, and we'll meet in the next lecture. Thank you very much.